So, is everyone okay? Okay. This morning, for Make Japa Great Again, I have a letter that Prabhupada wrote. These letters are precious because Prabhupada's answers are very simple and helpful because they're pretty much the same. I read through all of his letters that he wrote about chanting japa, and 90% of them are the same, which is just chant Hare Krishna, because it's a simple thing. There are a few nuances which you've heard before from the various letters I picked out, like forced meditation and determination and so forth. Today's has the same feel, that is, just chant Hare Krishna, but there's a few elements in it that we can think of while we chant today. And this was a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote in 1973 to Govinda Dāsa on July 20th, in case anybody's keeping score. And he writes, "Of course we have to control the mind, and I have already instructed you and all my students that the restless, fickle mind can only be controlled by putting the mind to the lotus feet of Krishna. And that can be best done by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And there is no alternative in this age. By chanting without offenses, the devotee cries to Radharani and Krsna to please lift him out of the material energy and put him into the spiritual energy, which is devotional service. And because we are not at the stage where we can chant and do nothing else all day, there are so many other engagements. So you have sufficient engagement there? Because if we are not full-time engaged, then the mind is free to do its fickle business of rejection and acceptance for sense gratification. Maya will immediately enter. We do not even have to call her. The moment we are not absorbed in Krishna's devotional service." So, there are a couple points that really struck me here. One of them is that you don't have to call Maya. She's there waiting. As soon as I'm not engaged, then there's an alternative, which is Maya. She's just sitting there waiting to engage me one way or the other. And the other is that Prabhupada mentions that we may not have the power, the spiritual power, to chant Hare Krishna all day long. So it's best to have other engagements lined up. And I read another letter just earlier this morning where Prabhupada said that also working and then giving up the fruits of one's work is also equal to chanting. So it's not that you just have to chant all day long when you don't have the power, but you can also organize your life around the various principles that Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita. And one way or another, you can stay in touch with the spiritual energy and be happy. What do you think? Hare Krishna. Just take a couple of reflections from the letter and then we'll commence. Malini.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome back, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Prabhu, the point that you mentioned about Prabhupada asking a question, are you sufficiently engaged? That was a very catching point, because if we have our attention 100% of our time in some or the other things, services that we do for Krishna, then it's equivalent. I mean, since we are not in a situation where we can chant all the time, that is actually a best alternative for us. So that was nice.
Nice. Una más. Muichido or ek. Yes.
Hare Krishna, welcome back, Maharaj.
Thank you.
This morning I read a small paragraph from Bibi Govinda Swami Maharaj, and he said that raga means attachment and anuraga means a very deep attachment. So the recommendation of Sri Rupa Goswami is that we will come to the position of perfection by hearing the name, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes of the Lord. He says, Tan Nama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu. And he says, Sukirtananu. And this Sukirtananu means that very nicely we should always hear and chant about Krishna's glories. And then he says that the gradual process is that your mind and senses will become absorbed. And I was reflecting on the verse from NOI, the verse number 8, where we often learn this in youth jam and even at the temple, where it's a gradual process, and just by sticking with it, as you say, like just keep on keeping on, we can get to the stage of perfection.
Thank you. I only have one thing to say in response to that. Anuragto habehe. So let's try. So now we have the perfect opportunity. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura. Hare Krishna. With jet lag and everything, I keep opening my eyes and wondering if I'm dreaming that we're actually sitting here, or I'm sitting here with you. And it's a very good dream, if that's what it is. I hope I don't wake up. I was wondering if someone here could recall the second verse of the Shikshashtakam and just give a few comments about it, because it's a really important verse. It has some phrases that can help us focus the mind on chanting. You don't have to give a Bhagavatam class on it, but even if you have a few thoughts, you can mention what the verse is and just say a few things.
I didn't remember the Sanskrit verse, but a translation I remember. There are so many names of you, Krishna, Govinda, and then you put the potency on that, but somehow I'm unfortunate to relish. Please please help me like that, the second verse.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? More specifics? There's a lot in that verse you can say. Someone knows the Sanskrit. Yeah. You want to say something about the verse? You know the verse. Okay, we'll take that. You gotta wait for the mic.
It's Nam Baudakari Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tava Chandrika something. I forgot the whole thing.
Okay, you got some of it there. That's very nice. Prabhu, would you like to say something more about it?
Nama Namakari Baudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamitaha Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrisham Miha Janinanuragaha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says you have lot of names, and you have invested all your potency in your holy name, and there are no rules and regulations to chant this holy name. You can chant everywhere, and akal any time you can chant. It's just my unfortunate that I am not able to relish it, and I'm not able to. I don't have raga, no anuraga. Hare Krishna.
Nanuraga. You mentioned anuraga, and there's nanuraga. Does anybody have any realization about the verse, or does it mean anything to you? Work with me, people. Yes.
I can relate to the part about having no relishment of the holy name. So it's nice that that's captured in the scripture, so that I know that it's a valid thing and I can move forward from it too.
So how do you do that? Is there any secret? If you're durdaivam, you're unfortunate because I don't have a taste for it. What's the secret? Is there a switch you can flip?
I think that is the next verse, the text 3. If you don't have traction, then I think the text 3 says Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishtuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should be humble than the blade of grass, more tolerant than the tree, and give all respect to others, and don't expect any respect for oneself. In that way, we can keep on chanting always holy name.
How would you do that? Give all respects to others. Huh? You want to do dandavats? That's a good idea. Prabhu, go ahead. How to achieve the spirit of that verse in your own experience?
Yeah. Basically, we should yeah, it's a not so easy thing to give respect to everyone and not expect, but that is a price we have to pay. And then if we know the, sorry, what is your question? How to achieve that?
What's your realization of the verse?
Realization, yes, my realization is it's not so easy to not expect respect for oneself and give respect to everyone. But if we try to do that, definitely we see the other flip side, like we have more attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. And
Oh, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, please go ahead.
Please accept my humble obeisances to you, Jays. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My realization is I'm always, at least if I cannot give respect to all of them, at least I don't want to envy anybody, and I no dvesh, and then I try not to see any negative sides of people. Otherwise, I think that if I do that, my chanting and my bhakti is gonna be vanished. So I remember this verse. I often quote every time I have this kind of negativity in my mind or any kind of dvesh, that I think that if I try to envy or get jealous or something, then I remember this verse, and it really helps me. Slowly, I'm getting some taste. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Devotee that I knew, who was a disciple of one of Prabhupada's godbrothers, once said that my religion is to find the faults within myself and to weed them out. No necessity, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, to find the faults in others, because there's so many in me to work on. And this devotee, who was his grand disciple, said, when asked, what's your religion? He said, my religion is to find the faults within myself and to weed them out. It's a full-time occupation. So that could be helpful. There were a couple more hands up. Let's try to do that.
Thank
Pavani
you.
Bhakti. Thank you very much, Danavari.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, welcome back.
Thank you.
I was thinking about the first verse, that how Krishna has put all his potency in the mantra, and wherever we are, if we are engaging everything in Krishna's service, then that is Krishna. So whatever makes Krishna happy, that is Krishna. And our home, like even when Vidura goes out and talks to Maitreya, at that time it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam in Canto 3 that the place where you are and you are with Krishna, that Krishna is so absolute that his name and he himself are the same. So if we make the place where we are in service of Krishna, as you were saying in the morning, like align up your engagements, then the holy name is so powerful that it will always manifest. And it doesn't depend on us. The holy name itself is so powerful. And as we chant more and read more, then the compassion and the humility naturally develops. It is just, we cannot avoid it. So that's what my experience is. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That's good to know. Jai Madhava Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Welcome back. I was just thinking on your question, how to give respect to others and not expect respect back in return. One thing could be to think of all the services others are doing for helping other living entities. And when you think of the service they are doing and how long they've been doing, naturally you have respect for them for what they are doing in helping other living entities. As one way, or maybe the other positive qualities they have. If you start meditating upon all those things, you naturally develop a respect for them for what they are doing, and how not to expect respect back in case you don't get respect. It will come. I mean, it's just that you just have to have tolerance of not giving respect, in the sense you don't need that respect. As long as you're doing your services, you're doing your sadhana, you're filled inside. So it's okay if you don't get it. It will come eventually. They are on their path. those are some of the thoughts which came about.
Thank you. So the things we should forget are what we've done for others, and things we should remember are what others have done for us. Okay, one last. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, can I say something quickly?
Who is that? Wait a sec, we have one
Dhanvadi.
more. Well, hold on, we have a lineup inside here.
Okay.
I just want, welcome back. I just wanted to comment on that having no taste, which is, like a default state, at least for me. So the best way is to continue. I mean, whether we have taste or not, I think I should just continue. And especially when we are in the association of devotees, when we are chanting, at least those days are the highlights, and, it kind of continues at least for some time, and then again we come back to with devotees. So that helps me, at least, if not the quality, the quantity wise, we are like fulfilling, the daily, our vow of chanting the 16 rounds. So just carry on with that. That's what I, follow.
Thank you, very helpful. Okay, Dhanavari, go ahead.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Welcome back. I missed you. One slok of Gita from 15th chapter, 15:15, Nirmana moha jitta sangadosa adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama. So that slok, I like that. Whenever I have trouble, I try to read that. So just wanted to share. Thank you.
It's good to have a shloka that you can meditate on. It kind of gives you permission to be humble. Nirmana moha jitta sangadosa. So to give up the fault of trying to be the center, and also be in the position of giving up faulty association and so forth. Thank you. All right, let's try a few more minutes and be in the spirit of calling out to Krishna. We just have a few more minutes left, so I'm going to reread Prabhupada's statement about chanting. Then he gave to Govinda Dasi in a letter. Of course, we have to control the mind, and I have already instructed you and all my students that the restless, fickle mind can only be controlled by putting the mind to the lotus feet of Krishna. And that can best be done by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And there is no alternative in this age. By chanting without offenses, the devotee cries to Radharani and Krsna to please lift him out of the material energy and put him into the spiritual energy, which is devotional service. And because we are not at the stage where we can chant and do nothing else all day, there are so many other engagements. So you have sufficient engagement there? Because if we are not full-time engaged, then the mind is free to do its fickle business of rejection and acceptance for sense gratification. Maya will immediately enter. We do not even have to call her. The moment we are not absorbed in Krishna's devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vanchakalpa Drishta, Kripa Sindhave, Vachapatitana, Bhavana.